Okay, and we are live. Welcome back to JLS Comics. This is Jesse here for another episode of Comic Conversation. This is part 4, and we're going to be talking about podcasting today. I have with me the two fantastic hosts of a podcast you may know as Two Nerds and a Joke. On my left, it may be different for you, but I have Mr. Ernie. In the middle is Robert. So welcome to the show, guys. Nice to have you.
Hey.
Thanks for taking the time out of your busy day to meet with me and talk, and excited to talk about the podcast. So, yeah. But first, before we do that, I understand you guys are, you're big into the nerd world. Star Trek, Star Wars, the whole genre is really exciting, right?
Yes.
Been following it for a while. Would you guys say you're experts in it?
Robert is an expert in nothing. I basically have been towing him along. It's been a hard travel, but we are both experts.
Okay, well, that's good. Well, we're going to test that right now.
You insult me first, and then you compliment me. I'm not sure where to take that. Thank you.
Hey, at least you threw a compliment in there somehow, right?
It's like this went south quickly.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I am going to quiz you guys. A little bit of an icebreaker. All right?
All right.
I have a couple sets of questions, one for Star Trek and one for Star Wars. Ernie, which would you like to answer?
Ooh,
Really?
let me see. Since I'm wearing my Boba Fett t-shirt here, let me go Star Wars.
Okay. So we'll start off with a couple easy ones. Couple easy ones here for you. What does AT-AT stand for? AT-AT.
Armored.
Okay.
AT-AT. Armored transport.
Yes.
Armored transport.
That's the second part.
That's the second part.
That's the second
All-terrain
half.
armored transport.
There you go. Yeah,
Yes.
that's it. All right.
Nice.
All right, good job. ATST, what does that stand for?
All-terrain scout transport.
Yes, that's right. Good job. Told you those would be easy.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. And then another easy one. One more acronym for you. TIE, as in TIE Fighter.
All right, tie. Tie. And this isn't the bow tie pasta that Robert likes to eat all the time.
No.
Or the bow ties
and
I
it's
like
not-
to wear.
Or the bow ties that he likes to wear.
Well,
Let's
that's my
see.
son, actually. But
Tie, twin ion engine.
Yes, exactly right. Ding ding, you got it. Okay, so far you're going pretty good here. But they make it a little more difficult.
All right.
So
Nope.
you know that really iconic, infamous sound that a TIE fighter makes, right? That screaming noise. What does that consist of? Yeah. Pshoo, pshoo. No. How do they make that sound? You know?
That is the sound Robert makes when he sees an Assassin's Creed trailer. They actually. Hold on. I got to think about this because I remember watching. Funny thing is, I remember watching a documentary pre-internet
Yeah.
when I was a kid about the guy who came up with all the sounds. You know, the scuba gear for the Darth Vader. But I'm trying to remember how he came up
Yeah, I
with
remember
the
that one.
tie.
Wasn't one of those rain waker whistle thingies they used to have? Like, goes, yeah, like that.
No, it actually wasn't that, believe it or not.
No. You know what? I give it to you, Dungeon Master Extraordinaire. You stumped me.
Okay. Well, it happens to be the sound of two things. They combine an elephant call with the sound of a car driving on wet paint.
A car
Wow.
driving on wet paint.
Yeah.
That's good.
Hazy. That is
He's-
very random.
I'm wondering how he got to that point. He's like, you know what this is missing?
Elephant. That's what we're missing. Elephant.
Yeah.
Missing an elephant call, I think.
You know what would really describe a fighter in space far, far away? A car on paint.
Yes.
It's a mode of transportation.
So what? I
Sure.
mean, how did they not arrive at that first?
Dude, that guy earned
Face
his
is wet.
paycheck.
Face is wet.
He earned his paycheck. God bless him. He given me many
Oh, that's
thousand
awesome.
And of course, as a kid, I had the little toys trying to make that noise. Who would have known? All I needed was just an elephant calling.
It was an elephant.
An elephant.
They got some in North Florida, so.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so next question for you, Ernie. Who kissed Leia first? Was it Han or Luke?
Ooh, I can see George Lucas. I can see George Lucas now writing this out. I like to see the siblings in space make out. Hold on, let me go back through the Rolodex here. I see little index cards flipping. A lot of bad images of Robert with the duck tank.
I actually know this one.
Yeah.
I want to say it was Luke.
Luke?
I want to say it was Luke.
Yeah. Robert?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because what happened was it was to make Han jealous.
Yeah.
That was the scene.
Luke. Yeah.
Like, I think it was like this. He's like, yeah, I'm the boss. I just kissed my sister.
And that's also the second movie. The first movie, she gives him a kiss for good luck.
Well, that was on the cheek. That's not a real kiss. We're talking real kiss. We're talking lick, smacking, kiss my brother, making babies type kiss, and not good luck.
Wow.
Making babies. Yo, this has gone dark real quick.
All right. Who, Ernie, is the first Sith Lord?
That would be.
And I'll give you a hint. Darkness is my ally.
You were really bored of the dark.
It's not Bane.
Darth Bane.
Yeah, Darth Bane.
Darth Bane. Yes. But I love the bit of Bane being a failed stand-up comedian. It is hilarious. Anyone out there want to check that out? Please do. It is great comedy.
Yeah. You and your Bane obsession.
Yeah. So Darth Bane. Okay, got a couple more questions for you here. Where did Luke tell Leia that she is his sister? That should be easy.
Endor.
That's easy.
Yeah, right in the
Ewok. Well,
right in the middle of
the big place.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of the man-eating teddy bears.
Yeah.
They are delightful man-eating teddy bears. Thank you very much. And she had her hair down with one braid.
Dude, that's way too much knowledge there.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Did I step on your expert toes there?
Apparently, Robert's seen that scene a couple of times.
Yes, he has. He's worn out that videotape.
Oh, baby.
All right. So next question. Luke's aunt and uncle, they lived on Tatooine, of course. What was their, how did they make money? What did they do there? What was their job?
They were traffickers of blue milk. No. They were moisture farmers. Exactly.
Well, you are good. You are an expert. I am impressed here.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good. So next question. In Empire Strikes Back, there was a bounty hunter that actually had a costume on that was from an old episode of Doctor Who. What was that guy's name?
Oh, if it's Doctor Who, it's definitely Robert. It was definitely Robert. I know those toes.
He was in the movie.
Anyway. Wasn't it the lizard dude?
It was
the lizard dude, wasn't it?
Bosk? Yeah, Bosk. Yeah. All right, and then last question for you here. Star Wars episode A New Hope was not the first name for the movie. Do you know any of the previous names from the earlier scripts?
From the movie? Earlier scripts?
Yeah.
Wasn't one of them Luke's story? Or the Skywalker Adventures?
Sort of, yeah.
I was going to go...
Yeah, I remember seeing one. I saw that just recently, actually.
Yeah.
I was going to go with Blue Harvest.
That is Family Guy.
Is it really? Blue
That's
Harvest.
awesome! Good for you, Ernie! Good for you!
Yes. I'm going to go with Blue Harvest. The original screen names Oh
Wasn't it
gosh.
like really long too? It was like super. It was like the many adventures deep in space of the Skywalkers named Luke and his
But
sister Leia with their.
yeah,
Yeah, you're on the right track with that.
I have to concede to my accomplice there on this one. But he failed to do it in the George Lucas voice. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think
Well, I'm gonna leave the voices to you there, Ernie, with that one. I believe it should be.
There are no bras in space. Leia, you can't wear a bra in space. It just doesn't work.
All right. One last question for you.
Go
Well,
ahead.
actually, let me tell you the answer.
Oh,
Yeah, I'd say give me the answer to that one.
Yeah, you will never know. No, it's called The Adventures of the Star Killer, Saga 1, The Star Wars.
I knew it.
Remember, he was
Star Killer.
Star
Yes.
Killer, right? He was Star Killer before he was
Okay.
Star Walker.
Right, and then
That's
the
what I was
second
missing.
strip, yeah, it was supposed to be Adventures of Luke Starkiller, and then they went into the final.
Yeah, Star Killer is just
Interesting,
so. Yeah, that's a dark turn. Talk about dark turns.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so now we'll do some Star Trek, Robert.
Ooh,
Wait,
there
geez.
you go.
It's
All
a
right.
big universe out there.
Yeah.
Let's see. What was my score? I got three wrong on that one, right?
Right.
All right. So I got to
You're
brush
still
up
gonna
on
have
it.
me beat.
All right. Easy one here. Starfleet's Prime Directive.
To seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no person has gone before.
I like how you made it PC.
Yeah. Well, it depends on which. If the original, it was no man, and then they changed it in the next generation to no person had gone before. So they did actually change the verbiage of it.
Yeah, that's good.
Hey, look at that! I knew something. Yay
Yeah,
me!
So Enterprise, it's NCC 1701, and whatever letter at the time. But what does the
CD,
NCC stand for?
Oh God, that's a tough. I'm not good with acronyms either. What Ernie? You know,
Looks like
Mr.
he does.
Japanese.
No. Be PC now.
I know. There's a lot of wrong ways we can go with that. I want to go Federation Planets, but it's not that. It's
No.
I have.
NCC.
That doesn't. It
I know.
starts with
I'm
F,
thinking.
not F.
Yes, I know. Thank you. I want to say something class carrier, but I have no idea. I don't know acronyms. That's Ernie's area. You know, Ernie? You know?
You're letting us down, man. You're letting us down.
I am. I don't know acronyms. I never looked at the acronyms.
Ricky, how long have you watched that show?
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't look up AT-AT either. Okay, what does it stand for? I'm losing the point on that one.
Yeah, Naval Construction Code.
Really?
Yeah.
Naval Construction Code.
Yeah.
That's really random. Okay. I guess they consider Starfleet naval?
Yeah, they do.
Please.
Yeah. That's why they use Admiral. All those.
Admirals,
Yeah,
captains.
Admiral. Okay, yeah. Okay. I can see that. That makes sense.
They're ships,
Yeah.
starships.
All right, it's good to know. Yeah.
All right, so first, captain for the Enterprise.
Well, okay. Do you want to go?
Captain
are we talking
Bakula.
going all the way back? Yeah, Captain Bakula. Are we talking
No.
Kirk? How far back in time do you want to go?
First.
You technically can go back to Pike.
That's what I was looking for.
Wait, you're
Okay,
looking for Pike?
See?
Yeah.
We're all looking for Pike.
I was going to say Archer, but okay.
Well, but Pike technically. Yeah, you could go either way with it, couldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, how long were you captain for? That's kind of the thing.
Pike's the answer.
Pike's the answer.
All right, this is my time.
Fine, Pike's the answer. Moving on.
Well, since we're talking about the captains here, name the other 4 for the Enterprise. You got Pike.
Just total. So you're talking.
Right.
So
Oh,
you're
there's
talking
5.
Kirk. Right. Oh, for the Enterprise. So you're not talking Janeway or any of the accessories.
Actually, no. Let's do from the show. So let's.
Okay. Janeway. You're talking Kirk. You're talking Picard. You're talking. Oh shoot! What's the son of a mother?
Thong Song guy.
What's his name?
Did you say the thong
Can't
song?
think of
Yeah.
can't think of his name right now. Damn it! I'm drawing a blank.
Cisco.
3 out of 4. Damn it.
Cisco.
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 Damn it. Oh. But okay. But wait a second. Hold on a second. Hold on a
I
moment.
know
Cisco
he
not
wasn't
technically
for
captain of
Enterprise.
Starship, and he was nowhere near Enterprise. He was on a space station. It didn't move.
Right, but it was stuck near that wormhole. But we're going
Well,
with the show.
near a wormhole. Yes.
Right, near the
He
wormhole.
ended up becoming a god. He was the only captain who became a god at the end of the TV series. Spoiler alert.
Interesting.
Yeah, he became one of the gods of the actual wormhole at the end of it.
I don't think
Judge?
enough times pass by that you don't need to say spoiler alert anymore.
Yes.
You
Judge,
never know.
I object to the use of spoiler in that instance. I like it thrown out.
Redact that.
Reject that. Take it all
All
back.
right, so Picard's Borg name.
I love this one.
Locutus
Yep.
of Borg. He was
Here you
so
go.
acute, he was adorable.
All right. So, since this is, kind of within my wheelhouse is comic books, right? So I gotta kind of tie that in somehow to these questions, okay? Obviously, there's Star Trek, Star Wars, comic books, but Catwoman has been on Star Trek, not as Catwoman, but we had Lee Merriweather, Julie Newmar, and Eartha Kitt. However, one of those was not on the show. Which one was it? It's a tough one.
I want to say that's a tough one. I think Kit wasn't.
You're inhaling deeply. That's right, Eartha Kitt.
Yeah.
I was hoping you'd say that. I was a psychic thing there. I was like,
Yes, thank you. I could feel your vibes, Ernie. Thank you.
yes,
You were in my
done.
mind as many other places.
Me punching you, you better get it right.
See, folks, this is how they do their show too. They're in
As
each
they
other's
do.
minds.
Yes, it's among other places, but yes, mine's definitely.
Wait a minute.
This is went dark again. Yes, it did. It went dark again. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, it's awful. It's awful.
All right. This one should be easy for you. Data's cat's name.
Interesting fact on that stupid cat. Wasn't like I want to call it Charles or Chuck for some reason. I don't know why, but no, there was like 6 different actual cats.
Yeah,
there
all
wasn't
different
one,
breeds.
and
too.
he hated all of them. They would never do what they were told. God, what was that cat's name? I want to call him Orange or Fluffy. Oh man,
It's something
I'm gonna fail.
You named him after something you didn't actually have. You could take that how
heart?
you want.
Wow,
An
I was
emotion
going to
chip?
say you left him way
needed
too
an
much room
emotion
to
chip.
wiggle on that one.
Yeah. That's the idea here. I'll give you a little
So-
thing to take and run away with.
Yeah, I do not remember the cat's
Oh,
name. God, that's awful.
Oh,
And it's the cat guy too. I know. I can't remember I want to say Charles or Chuck or something, but I know it's not that.
Charles Barkley.
Yeah, it's Charles Barkley the cat. No vertical leap.
You want to take it for the steal, Ernie? Sounds like
Yeah,
you
go
know
ahead,
it.
Ernie, if you remember it.
You know what? I have to concede that is definitely something I never really paid much attention to because
See,
I for one felt the cat distracting in the show.
I don't disagree. Yeah, I wasn't sure the point of the cat. I'm a cat fan, but I never really understood the point.
If anything, I will make up a name though.
Go for it.
I will make up a name. Mr. Twitches.
What? You got it. No.
How did you know that?
No, it was Spot.
Spot.
Spot. Really?
Yeah,
That's
Spot.
awful.
How
I feel
lame.
disappointed. That is all. I'm disappointed. I am disappointed. Data.
Data was
I am
kind
a
of lame.
total sinner that I like Data. Hey, you watch
There you
yourself
go.
there, Ernie. I'll come
That's
through
right.
the screen.
You,
I liked Ernie.
Right.
you liked Ernie. Thank you.
I did.
All right.
I liked him until he said Data was lame. Yes.
Being that you guys are local to me, obviously you'll be going hopefully to the Comic-Con in about a month.
Yes.
Right?
Can I plug?
And
Can
I
I
believe
plug?
Fred
real quick?
Spiner will be there. Yeah, go right ahead.
I am actually going to be at the con, and I will be at the Owl's Treasures retro video game booth. We'll have retro video games to play for free and games from the retro and modern age to buy. So come on by, and we have Star Wars soap. If you wanted a piece of soap shaped like the Millennium Falcon, come on by. That's my plug. I'm done now.
Very cool. I will be there. I will be there probably trying to gain entrance. Like, I'm like, hey, I'll do it. What do you guys want for your ticket? I'll do anything.
Yes, except the one thing, right, Ernie?
Yeah, no, not doing that.
Did we go dark again? I'm sorry.
All right. So, since we're talking about, plugging things, let's talk about the show, your podcast.
We have a show?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's that thing we do. Yeah, that's right.
So you're a few episodes in now, right? How far along are you? You're up to like double digits now, I think, right?
Not quite. We just did and launched on Saturday episode number 7. But we also have we are in double digits for the Two Nerds and a Walk. That's the big one, and that got a lot more popular than I expected it to. They're short snippets, just us walking down the street kind of thing, just talking about whatever was on our mind for that latest one. But yeah, we're up to 7 right now. And I just built over this weekend because I'm trying to find a good place to store all the episodes where people can get to them. Archive.org. We just uploaded all the episodes to that. So we're hoping people listen all there. iTunes has it, and of course, on your favorite place to be, YouTube has them all as well.
Okay, very cool. I've been watching the Two Nerds on a Walk, and obviously listening to the podcast, and it's a lot of fun. Really good, as you can see here, good dynamic between the two of you. So really enjoyable. Right? And the links will be down below in the description, so you guys can go check them out there. Check them out here on YouTube, SoundCloud. Anything else, if I missed it, let me know and I'll put the link there. But if you're watching this, please go, check them out over there. Give them some likes, subscribe to them. Enjoy their content, please. So,
please, we beg you, please.
For the love of God, do it.
Ernie will do almost anything. Almost anything.
Just like do anything. Just love me.
Oh, wow.
So, I'm curious, how do you come up with your topics for each month? Does it come from, is it random that comes up, in the week, something happens and you're like, oh, that would be a great idea for a show? Or does it tie into, press releases? Or how does that work for you guys?
It's actually twofold.
You want to go? I'm assuming Robert would go first on this, correct?
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, say first of all,
proceed.
Thank you. Appreciate, love you. Actually, it starts most of the time with an argument with Ernie. Our lives really are. We're just podcasting us. I mean, that's kind of the fun of it. Is we'll start an argument about whatever it is. Ernie will complain about something. I'll complain back. He's stating fact. I say, well, opinion matters more. And we got to get off and say, wait a second. This is an episode. Hold on. Let's record. Hit record. And that's part of it. But but topics, content, Ernie, you can talk to us a little bit too, is really what we're listening to, what we're watching. We kind of keep a blend between the retro and the topical. We're hoping in the next episode to cover a lot of things. One of the things we're looking to cover is something that Ernie completely turned me on to, which I had never seen. Yes, Ernie is awesome. Yes, which was Enter the Dragon. And I'd never seen it. I love the Mortal Kombat movie, not because it was that good of a movie, but I have a sentimental value to that movie experience for me personally. So when he said, well, it's basically this other movie, I was like, hold on a second, you're treading on sacred ground. And then I watched the Enter the Dragon movie from the 70s, and it's like, oh yeah, it's pretty much the same movie. But we're going to talk about that a little bit. So that's kind of what it is. What else do you think, Ernie, with that?
Well, yes. Where we get the content for these podcasts is A lot of it comes just in basic conversations that we're having or that we hear about. Sometimes it is a lot of like news, whatever's in the news, publications, things that interest me. I myself, um, I like comics. I like action movies. I like sci-fi, and I also like the other genres. A little bit of horror stuff like that. And for whatever reason, over the past couple of years, like the entertainment industry kind of blew up with all the content.
Right.
So now we have all all these shows coming at us from every direction: Netflix, Google, Amazon, now Showtime. It's like now TV is just as good as going to the movies. And in talking and walking around, every day and just talking about things, one of the things that I've noticed that bring people together are these shows sometimes. Just a way to escape and just like, hey, did you ever notice? And going back to the discussion that we're going to have on the next Two Nerds and a Joke podcast, which you can see by clicking on any of the links down below. And don't forget to subscribe. Is that it's kind of like you ask those questions like, hey, did you ever notice that Mortal Kombat is a shot-for-shot remake of Enter the Dragon? And it just enters discussion. Like everyone has like an emotional tie into that, and I think that in itself leads to like where we get the content from. Another thing that's coming up for a future episode is a little bit of social commentary, about the gender roles in movies. So we try to keep it fun, and if we're not into it, and we're not doing this for money or for anything like that, we actually do enjoy doing this.
Yes, I have a lot of fun making fun of Ernie on a regular basis. It really gets me off.
A lot of patience.
I can't wait for our spectacular Pokemon episode. That's going to really be exciting. Hey, when Pokemon Sun and Moon come out, we are going to have a conversation. I don't care what you say. Favorite Pokemon, we're going to get into it, my friend.
Listen, the only one I know is the one that you are, which is Jigglypuff. That's the only one.
I am not Jigglypuff. Not Jigglypuff.
Right. I agree. Whatever the content is, as long as you're remaining true to yourself and your beliefs and conveying that to the other person, you really can't go wrong. So, good job with that. Sticking with your interests. So how do you kind of mix the show? So you have YouTube, you have your podcast. How do you blend the two together? Is there a way? I know talk about I have an upcoming show, upcoming podcast. But beyond that, do you guys mix them at all, or do you try to keep them fairly separate?
You want me to take this, Ernie, or do you want to?
No, you always go first.
Oh, I do? Well, he's the female, and he always lets the man go first, so, I always come first. That's how it is. All right. The grand vision is it's one large playground for us to talk about what interests us. The podcast itself is literally just transliterated over to YouTube directly. I upload it every week to both locations so that not everybody uses iTunes, nobody uses SoundCloud, so let's do YouTube. YouTube, though, we have more flexibility. We do only the Two Nerds and a Show there. That's the only location you'll find those, and the Two Nerds and a Walk are only going to be on YouTube. Larger, bigger picture, we're just starting to look at and expand into the world of blogging. Part of Google, as you know, is the blogger site. We're looking to kind of include some content, some commentary there as well. We haven't really done anything with it just yet, but we're looking at it. And then we use kind of some of the other social media like Pinterest and Twitter to kind of just direct people back to our show. But we also do, I try to post like one or two pictures I find cute or cool to Instagram almost every day. We have a bunch of followers on Instagram, and try to just post some stuff from there to kind of keep the interest that we're kind of stay relevant, that we're posting stuff that's relevant to us. And when we go to con, there's going to be a lot of stuff we're going to use all of this media stuff for. So when we have pictures with people and we're going to do interviews and whatever else we do, we have all this media that we can kind of draw all this stuff together. And eventually what I'd like to do too is do kind of what you're doing here and maybe even do a live show every once in a blue moon, and kind of take that angle too. But those are some things down the road. It really will depend on where we hit. Like right now, YouTube for us is hitting big. Instagram's hitting big. We're going to try and broaden out and say, okay, where are we hitting big, and where is the viewership coming from, and kind of focus on that, but try and reach out. Our big thing right now is we want to get a solid stream going on SoundCloud. Right now, sadly, because of a lack of funding, we only have the free account for SoundCloud. So iTunes, if you look for us on iTunes, you'll see three versions of Two Nerds and a Joke. They look identical, and they are, but each one has a few of the episodes, because we're only allowed 2 episodes per SoundCloud account. So you will note that. So we're looking to get the full stream for that eventually and have all the episodes in one place, but we have to get some donations, hopefully, to have that happen. So yes, big toothy grin there, Ernie. So that's my vision. Ernie, do you have anything to add to that?
As far as mixing them together, the way we try to do it is, we try to keep the show organic and try not to plan it out, because when you start planning something, it becomes less fun. And what we've been doing is just, it kind of ties into how it all started. It was like we'd go, I'd need to go for a walk because of whatever's going on, and I need to just talk about something else, totally something at random. And then I'm like, you know what? I bet you anything somebody would want to hear this. So we just decided to do it as a video clip. And we don't really have a set time. We don't, rehearse or anything. It's just like, let's just go for a walk and let's just see what happens. With the podcast itself, we kind of have, the Two Nerds in a Walk kind of lead into a hey, this is what's coming up, this is what we're seeing coming out now, what do you guys think? Hey, and don't forget, we have a new podcast episode launching this Saturday. And that's how we usually try to mix the two together. Like Robert said, there's a couple things that are exclusive only to YouTube, which are the Two Nerds in a Show, which is us doing commentary on what was it? We did an episode of Star Trek. And we did the first volume of Clone Wars.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
And we're planning to do more of those. Those are just a little harder to get people together for, but we're planning to hopefully do a bigger, glorious one of that.
Yes, we're planning on. Yeah, we're planning on. God, look, dude! I know Deadpool was cool, but you're riding this horse till it drops, man.
I am. I know, but it's so much fun. But yeah, we'll definitely do one. We have to figure out what we're going to do one for, but we definitely need to do another one again.
Yes, so we try to tie the two in together that way. Like the Two Nerds in a Walk, a little bit smaller, and the way I think of those clips is kind of like, people who subscribe to our YouTube channel, which the links are down below. It'll be like that nice little thing that you get, like when you wake up in the morning and you see all the stuff that's in your inbox, you're like, hey, let me check out what these two guys are yammering about. It's just like a quick thing. What I envision the podcast for them to get into when they listen to the podcast, that's something like they're listening to on their commute to work, or if they're doing a workout or something like that. So I'm thinking that's how we try to get the two to mix together, so to speak.
Okay. Interesting. So actually, let's talk about that a little bit. Something that you just mentioned. Obviously, YouTube and podcasting, they're social media. Conversation, putting yourself out there. But one is video, and one is just strictly the audio, right? So can you talk a little bit about the differences there that you've experienced, and do you approach them in a different way? Maybe in the way that you convey the conversation, or is there any difference there for you guys?
Well, clearly there is a difference because Robert has a face for radio. So when we decided to do video...
Listen, Chubby Cheeks. Listen, Chubby Cheeks.
Go ahead, Robert. You answer that one. I was just messing. Go ahead.
No, you can go ahead. I took the other two. I'll throw you a bone.
As far as when we made the decision to do a video, it was kind of... It was kind of like, that moment when you're at the pool and you're like debating whether or not it's cold water or not. Let's just go ahead and do that. That's basically what that first walk and talk was like. It was kind of like, all right, is this really going to work? Is this really going to work? Like, we had no equipment. We had, like, no idea. Let's just have fun and let's see what happens. So we kind of prepared ourselves like that. Now, for the podcast, that was completely different. That was like, all right, let's do a test run, see how we sound. And neither one well, I personally hate the sound of my voice. Robert loves the sound of his voice.
I love the sound of my voice. I love the sound of your voice too, Ernie. I just wish you would speak from the diaphragm more.
See, he mentions the word diaphragm. I don't know why.
But you have a sexy diaphragm. You should use it. I'm just saying.
So that's part of the reason why we have to do a couple runs with the podcast, because we don't like to edit, so a lot of it is unedited. Mm-hmm. The only time we do the edits is when we jump from subject to subject.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty raw stream. It doesn't take a lot of work to put the podcast together on the back end per se. It's just processing, but on the front end, we have to have a good connection and a good place to be. In fact, if you listen closely enough to some of them, you may hear some random bird whistling in the background, and that would be the birds of my house. So, very, very, very low quality sometimes, but it works.
Yeah, well, I have dogs and some of mine. So.
Yeah, but we put it out there at the beginning. We're not professionals. We're not in the business or anything. This is just something that we do, and we hope that everyone enjoys.
And that is kind of our angle. I agree, Ernie. Is that we're just the everyday nerds. We just happen to be passionate about a lot of things. Yeah, everyday nerds. But I have had a couple of complaints, Ernie, and I don't know if you've heard this yet or not.
Oh God.
Is that it's a legitimate concern, I think. Is the show's called Two Nerds and a Joke, but we haven't yet done any jokes.
It could
There's
be
no
funny.
nerd joke.
It could be funny. I mean, all right, I'll work on it.
So you need to be my joke.
Your guest the other day did have a good point. When you do have a guest on the show, that does become a joke.
That was great. That was classic. I was like, oh my God. You are the joke. Oh my God, this is fantastic. Figured it out.
Yeah, he did. He was. I talked to him just before that, and just before he hopped on to do that recording, and he was kind of nervous about it. I'm like, just have fun. Like, just like pretend like you're talking to me, and that's the first thing he says. Yeah. Like, I bring him on. He calls out our biggest hole that we have in our podcast.
I was thinking we either include a joke or change the name to Two Nerds in the Podcast. I don't know. But I like the joke. We just need to get a joke, that's all.
Yeah. You get to joke around. It's fun, so, it still works.
Exactly.
It works.
Yeah.
All right. So, kind of curious, you guys have the show, you've arrived at this point in your lives where you have enough of the knowledge and the passion and the experience where you have enough to convey for enough content and enough to debate, whatever your passion is there. If it's opposite sides of the coin, right, you can debate and go toe-to-toe, as I've seen you guys do. And not in that alley by the con, we're trying to pick up those tickets.
We do know how to go at it. I would not disagree.
Two nerds in a battle. That's what it's going to be next. Two nerds in a battle.
Yay! That would be awesome.
Two nerds in a sparring match. But I'm kind of curious. How did you get into this world? Like, what was the first thing that you picked up or read or saw that drew you in? And kind of walk me through your story about your journey through being a nerd, comic books and the movies and games and everything that we have to offer. I know that's a kind of a loaded, long question, but yeah.
No.
Go, Ernie, go.
You know what? I'll run with this one. Give me the ball, coach. So as far as what got me into this, what was it? I would say from a very early age, it was the allure of sci-fi. I remember I grew up a military brat, born raised in Trap, and I was on this air base in Arizona, Luke Air Force Base, and it's basically in the middle of the desert. Okay, it's a little ways outside of Phoenix, so it's just the military base, and there was a 7-Eleven store, and at the 7-Eleven store, they had comic books, they had trading cards and stuff like that. So I had not seen Star Wars on its first run through. I saw it on the second run through there in Arizona at a drive-in movie theater, and I was just captivated by it. So sci-fi for me was like big, and I just ate it all up. Anything sci-fi, anything having to do with space, whether it be the space shuttles, when those things started going up. You know, what was the other? Star Trek. I started watching that stuff. Battlestar Galactica. It was on regular TV, on the regular. All that stuff kind of sucked me in. And then right next to like the Star Wars comics were, all these Superman comics. So I started reading the Superman story. Very, very old school. Lex Luthor always, getting foiled at the end. Those type of comic books. Then started getting into more DC, Batman, Aquaman, the whole Justice League really engulfed me, and that was the one thing that was a constant whenever I moved, being in the military, was every airbase had like a newsstand, and we would wait for the new comics to come in, and that was just like magical. Then I started getting into Marvel, I started getting into the other comic books, and then the actual like books for Star Wars, they started coming out. So that really kept me going, and then leading all the way up until my adulthood when, trying to decide on a career. At first, I was doing a lot of like engineering and things of that nature, and looking at like stuff for the future. And I was working in a technology industry at the time that was, blowing up. I mean, I was on the ground floor of when we were making, as like a society, going from like pagers to cell phones. So like cell phone technology was just coming around, and then like all the little stuff you could do with cell phones. So to me, being a nerd, it's just always been there, I guess, a part of me. And I don't know, I guess lately now it's become like a little badge of honor, so to speak. It's cool to be nerdy now. It's a great world we live in now.
Yeah. It's a good time to be a nerd, right?
It is.
It's a great time to be a nerd, yeah.
Yeah. All right, very cool. How about you, Robert?
Well, for me, it actually, you can kind of tell by the things in my background here, it actually started for me with Disney, of all things. It really got me into the world of fantasy and make-believe, and my direction was more in the fantasy than the sci-fi at first. Me and my brother had a lot of time. We were homeschooled growing up, so we didn't really have a lot of friends, so it was mostly just me and my brother that hung out, and we had the X-Men figures, we watched the X-Men cartoons, and just my route was more fantasy than sci-fi, where I was really looking at the story, the long adventure, the almost kind of, in some sense, even at the young age, the kind of the romance of a world of just strange, weird beauty. So I got into drawing, I got into artwork and doing stuff like that, and then I switched over a little bit and got into like the Spider-Man world, and that was my big comics growing up. And we moved a few times, so I never did get my collection to wherever I wanted to be. So it's kind of, for me, a lot of nostalgia, like, oh my God, I had that comic back in the day, and it kind of grew from there. It was the stuff that was, how do you interact with other people? It was, how do you interact in the world, that really captured my imagination, and have these, things like the great movies of that era when I grew up in the 80s and 90s, the Labyrinth, the Dark Crystal, the Jim Henson fantasy world. That was kind of what really was my first step into that world, into that realm, because I'm a touch younger than Ernie, so so my stuff is a little bit, it's like, you remember this movie? It's like, dude, I was like 2. No, I don't remember that movie, But for me, it was really the Dark Crystals. It was the X-Men cartoon series. I mean, when X-Men Apocalypse came out, and I saw the characters, they were building them up from scratch, the classic characters. I was like, the biggest disappointment for me for that movie was Jubilee didn't have that big of a role. I wanted more Jubilee, like from the old days in the TV show. I was like, I want my Jubilee. And, I want to see the Gambit movie, and I want to see those characters that I loved, that grew up on, being on the big screen, come back, and kind of, confirm that my childhood was valid in its nerddom. And kind of like Ernie said, it was a survival technique for me, an escape from my everyday life sometimes. And it's definitely a badge that a lot of people, I think, use being a nerd and use that world to escape things in their own lives that are not quite what they would like them to be. And I think that was a big thing for me. It was a great escape thing, and I still enjoy it for that reason today.
Yeah, great answer. I agree with that 100%. It's the same way for me as well. It started off, I guess, sort of escapism. When I was younger, getting lost in this magical world, whatever it was, sci-fi, the fantasy, and superheroes. And to some extent, it is reliving the nostalgia, yes, but in some ways, it is still that escape. That getting away from. Not that I'm trying to escape, but the day-to-day, it can be pretty stressful, right? It can be pretty.
Reality does suck sometimes.
Mundane.
Yeah.
It does.
So. Yeah. So is that maybe a message you try to? Yeah. Is that a message that you try to give out on your show as maybe like a meta message? Here's a place you can come to escape with us. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that because go back all the way to episode 1. I mean, Ernie and I, we literally we went through what our lives were, why we were doing this, and I think in every episode we were like, no matter what side of the coin, if we're having a lively debate on something, it's still could this be something you can get into? What is the meaning of this? And I think we're going to get more. I think we're going to get more into that in some episodes than others. Just the nature of the beast of what is the we're talking to cosplayers. We definitely talking to guys who are and gals who are trying to find real world ways of escaping and enjoying these worlds of fantasy. But we're looking at an episode. We're going to talk about all these female characters and the reality for women in this. And I think we're going to be a little more cerebral here and there. It's going to happen. A little intellect is going to hit. Sorry, folks. But in an overall broad scheme, I believe for me, it's really a matter of escapism at its very finest, and it's a beautiful thing. And the creativity that comes out of it is fantastic. I mean, you spend an hour on Pinterest, you're going to spend all day on there. I mean, these people are just incredible.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the things that we try to build into each one of our podcasts is that some of the things that we talk about, it's kind of like, the world that we live in it's so serious, and it's so quick to like put people into buckets and like we're now siloed now. I don't think social media makes us any more social. If anything, it makes us like the opposite. We become less social with social media. You see people like all the time just sitting at a table with both their phones out, just like scrolling through, updating. Yeah. What? Oh, no. Like I saw that, and I saw it at the beach too. That's how far it's gone. Like people at the beach, like just laying there on their towels. Three young people, not saying a word. They're all on their cell phones, and I'm just like, why not just like sit down and just talk? And it doesn't even have to be about anything relevant. Like the stuff we talk about is not anywhere relevant. I mean, we're arguing about like fictional characters. I mean, it's a
love story, things like that.
But it brings God.
It is.
And I won. I won that one. Post facto, I won that.
So
I will claim victory.
And the whole thing about being a nerd is that sometimes some people it gets old having to be the same fuddy-duddy person. Why not talk about like the last episode of Game of Thrones? Why not like, oh my gosh, can you believe that happened to Hodor? It's just like it's just
spoiler alert.
Sorry, spoiler alert.
Yeah, that was an inappropriate non-usage of spoiler alert, sir.
Well, shame on you people for not watching the last Game of Thrones. Shame on you.
It's awful.
We have an interesting comment here from Nerdivision. He said it's weird because people in the 70s or 80s were probably doing something similar where they weren't always socializing, right? Especially on the train, the bus, they're commuting. Back then they were reading their newspapers and their magazines, and then today it upgraded to a cell phone. So I guess maybe in that way it could be more pervasive in that you can take your phone a lot easier to the beach than a big wadded up newspaper. But in some ways, he's saying that it has been happening for a while. So
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I tend to agree that. I just remember, because I remember growing up late 70s and through the 80s, so I grew up through the 80s. I just remember that time, like, you could be sitting somewhere, and this is just from my experience, like sitting like in a doctor's office, and somebody has a newspaper, and you can actually say, "Oh, excuse me, when you're done with that, may I see the funny pages, or something like that." Or have you read the sports section yet? Can I borrow the sports section? And it kind of opens that up. Or you know what I mean? It's kind of like you can lean over and say that. Now, if you're like sitting next to somebody and they're like this, I'm a little bit intimidated by that. I don't know why. I just am.
But it seems so private.
It's not appropriate.
Yeah, you never know what they're looking at. And I think that's a good point, Ernie, because I think for me that's what's happened. For a social species, we aren't extremely social anymore. But when you have things like books or newspapers or some of those, because I grew up in the 80s and 90s, so computers were not really huge even then, really. There was still more dialogue. The problem is that the devices and media outlets we're utilizing to get into our own little worlds are so much more personal, are just for us to look at. I mean, they're talking now. I just saw a commercial for these glasses that are like a virtual reality glasses. Like I think it's Samsung or something's coming out with it.
Yeah, VR glasses.
No one will see that but you. Yeah, I mean it's literally just you. It's just you, and there's no one else. And that's a challenge. I think is that as we get more social in the virtual world, we're beginning to fade away from social in the outer world. I think it's been as he said, out there for a while, but I think it's getting worse, not better. And what are we losing because of that?
Exactly right. I just saw a funny video, just a little, kind of on topic, but a little side note. I saw a funny video. What is he doing? Making a little tent with his hands.
Yeah, I have to block out the sides here real quick.
Okay.
I can only imagine why, Ernie. I can only imagine why.
It was a grandmother who had tried on some virtual reality glasses for the first time and was watching, I guess it was Jurassic Park.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
And
that would be good in virtual reality.
She was there. Yeah, she was like, like up on the couch, like falling over and stuff, because she just couldn't take it. It was really fun.
Disclaimer: you could get hurt if you think it's real. That would
exactly.
Be awesome.
You should probably come with a helmet too.
Yeah.
Of all the movies,
Jurassic
Park.
Hey, that would be good in virtual reality. I have to say, a lot of dinosaurs running it. Yeah, that would be creepy.
Yeah,
I would watch
the
that.
Pterodactyls like flying in your face. Or that I think one of them throws some poo at somebody. So
I believe there's a poo.
Might skip that scene, but
there's always someone on the toilet or someone getting poo thrown out. So there's always poop in that movies. I don't know. Steven's having a little fun with people with the poop.
Yeah. No, but I agree. That's kind of one of the reasons why I started my YouTube channel. In my life, there aren't a whole. I mean, it's getting. I'm going to use the word better. It's getting better these days, where I have more people that I can talk to and sort of share my knowledge and just have those. Whether it's a really in-depth conversation or I just want to make like some sort of offhanded joke, and I want the person to get the reference, right?
Yeah, right.
But exactly. So having the YouTube channel really helped me connect with a really great community here on YouTube, by the way. But get my message and my collection and my experience out there and have an outlet for that where I don't really have that in the day-to-day life. So really thankful for that. And this comic book community here on YouTube is really fantastic. There's a lot of really great people, a lot of really great vast, I'll use that word, depth of knowledge amongst everybody. So being connected to that really helped me have an outlet for my interest and my passion. So I'm really thankful for that, and I'm glad to have you guys here. It sounds like that's very similar for you guys as well, having the podcast as ultimately an outlet for what you want to get across, and having an expression and a way to connect with others. And I think that's really fantastic.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny you say that because I think I don't know how much for Ernie it is, but for me it is an outlet because I know my winning personality. I should have more, but I actually don't have a lot of really close friends because a lot of my shut up, Ernie. A lot of my friends moved away. They're in other states or in other countries. So
Yeah.
for me, there isn't a lot of people local, and I have family here, obviously, and my kids, and and so I do have a few people, but it's not the same. It's not that community feeling, and I'm hoping that that's something we can definitely join on our media sites and have that kind of back and forth a little bit more. That's kind of the piece that I think we are missing so far is that we have ourselves out there,
Mhm.
but the back and forth banter we haven't quite got there yet, and I hope we will once we grow in our fan base and have a few thousand people watching us, that we can expand that part of it.
All right. Great. Yeah, definitely. You guys are growing fast. You're doing really great things. So definitely keep that up. Keep being true to yourselves, and really like the organic, natural dynamic between the two of you. So don't lose that wherever you take it. If you're watching this, definitely go check them out. You can find them here on YouTube. You can find them on iTunes. We mentioned that earlier. Also, yep, links are down below. Facebook as well. On Facebook.
Yes,
And
we do have a Facebook page. Yep.
Yep. And
And if you
SoundCloud as well. Are there any others you want to plug? Pinterest as well?
Pinterest, yes. But if you
Yeah.
find us on Facebook, we are Ernie Robert. You will find the Two Nerds and a Joke page, but if you're looking to friend us, it's Ernie Robert. That's our Facebook name. So just if you're looking, you say, who the heck is Ernie Robert? That's us. That's us, Ernie
That's
Robert.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Great.
went in alphabetical order,
We're also on Twitter.
Yes.
So if you want to reach out to us on Twitter to give us ideas, I'm not sure. Well, we do try to post episodes there, links to episodes there. So if you are currently in the Twitterverse, feel free to follow us and like us and all that other stuff. Recommend us, retweet us out. Sometimes I say outrageous stuff, and sometimes.
Sometimes?
Sometimes. Okay.
Yeah, he's outrageous and I'm dark. That's how it works.
Yeah.
The light side and the dark.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
We do
And
have
we're
a-
always looking for show ideas. We're also looking for friends of the podcast. Feel free to reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to talk with you. And like what we were talking about before about having that creative outlet. Like I love talking about this stuff. I love talking about comic books. I love talking about that. I'm middle aged now, and I'm still talking about these things. So it's
Yeah.
definitely a great subject to be in, and it's a lot of fun.
Closer
Yeah,
to 50
absolutely,
than he is to 40.
Oh my god.
I'm still in my mid-30s, so I'm still young. He's getting there.
So we are getting towards the end of the show here, but one last question I wanted to ask you guys. So say somebody wanted to start, whatever their interest is, start their own podcasting. Are there any tips that you'd give anybody, or any maybe pitfalls to avoid that you could give to somebody new coming into the podcasting world?
Yes, make sure that your person who's in charge of your technology has a valid degree from an accredited school.
Really? Really?
Okay. Sounds like there's a story behind that.
He likes making fun of the fact that I have a master's in educational technology from FAU, and he throws that in my face every chance. He says, well, you have a master's in technology. No, master's in educational technology. There is a difference. You do smarts. But no, for me, the actual ability is get yourself Audacity, for God's sake. Get yourself Audacity. It's an easy, simple-to-use audio-based program. Get yourself a decent mic, and for God's sake, be passionate about what you're talking about. If you don't have any passion, it's not going to be successful because you're not going to enjoy doing it. And find yourself some really good quality, royalty-free music for your intro. That's huge.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
If I had a tip for anyone out there to start a podcast, I say just go ahead and do it. Just to, I sat on the fence for about 2 years, I think, before I finally said, you know what, screw it. Let's just do it. Let's just get it done. And I was very surprised at the response. And you kind of feel like, you kind of help some people out. Some people have really hard times, and they listen to your podcast, and you say something, and that just changes their whole day. You say a line or you mention something that brings back some emotion or some thoughts. Case in point, I had a friend of mine listening to our podcast. We were talking about female cartoon characters, and he's driving in traffic, screaming at the radio, saying, "Say Josie and the Pussycats! Say Josie and the Pussycats!" So that to me is like priceless. So if you can do that to just one person, I think you've done a successful podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that, Ernie. That's good. Yay, Ernie.
Very good, very good. All right, so we've already done the plugs, and again, they are down below, the links.
Yes.
Any final thoughts? Anything you want to close out with here before we be on our merry ways and finish out our Sundays?
Can I go?
Go, Ernie.
Can I
Make
go?
it happen.
All right. All right, so I'm going to put it out there.
Oh, no.
Right now, which
Here we
is
go.
better, Marvel Studio movies or DC Universe TV?
Ooh, that's a tough call. That's a good one. But that is the battle. That is the battle. That's good stuff. I like that. That's a good question, Ernie. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I'll leave
for
that
me,
up to you, host. I'm leaving this up to the host.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. This is your burden to bear from Ernie. For me, I would say, passionate about what you are doing in the world is great, and just remember that love is everywhere, and Deadpool is all love, and he loves you, and then he'll kill you. That's all I got. All I got.
All right, very cool. Well, thank you guys once again for joining me here. It's been a lot of fun, very insightful, very entertaining. You're welcome here anytime. So that'll do it again for another episode of Comic Conversation. This was part 4. I was here with the hosts, the wonderful hosts of Two Nerds and a Joke. So thank you for joining me. Thank you to the people in the chat. Shout out to you guys. And to anybody watching this in the future, thanks for checking it out. Don't forget to like, sub, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And we will see you soon.
Peace out.
Bye, everybody.